Hey everyone, Greg here. As you may know by now, I'm the co-founder and CEO of TripShock, an online reseller for water sports and tours. For the past 12 years, we've had the pleasure of working with hundreds of operators across the country, and we're looking to grow our community. It's free to sign up, and you only pay when we bring you confirmed bookings. We'll help you reach new customers, fill empty seats, and grow your business like so many have done with us over the years. Head over to partners.tripshock.com to learn more about our program, read testimonials, or speak directly with our supply team. As always, thank you for listening and enjoy the show.
Why are you dressed like a talk show host, man? You dress like that to travel?
No.
Like, if you guys could see what I'm seeing, which I think we're going to probably talk about that a little bit. Next year, but
yeah, I'm dressed like this because I'm going to a conference in New York. So
if there's a conference happening, like as soon as you get off the plane?
Well, there's events that I'm going to I won't have time to change.
Guys, I feel like Greg is leaving us for the NFT world. He was very casual at our conference, and if you could see what I'm seeing right now, he's very handsome and dressed up. He's got like a suit jacket on, and his beard is freshly trimmed. New haircut, it looks like, even some gel maybe. Long gone is the backwards hat of the Awkward Watersports Guys. Guys, it's going to be Greg, the NFT guy. I'm going to be out here alone, and you get one podcast every 6 months. No, you look good, man. You look good. Today at the gym, somebody said to me, because I updated my cover photo of me and you at the conference, and I'm wearing my Lions Not Sheep shirt. And he's like, so you just wear that to like a business conference? And I'm like, yeah, why not? What else would I wear? Like a backwards hat, tennis shoes, a t-shirt. That's me, man. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny because someone like made a mention about how I was dressed for the conference, and you're going to another conference and you're all suited up this morning, man.
Yeah. I'm really excited about this one. I'm just for a few minutes, I want to talk about like why I'm like into this. Like everyone's like, you think I'm crazy of why I'm so into like NFTs are not just art. It's the actual technology I'm really excited about and how it applies to travel businesses. So let's just take this example. Let's say that when you own a NFT, and as we may have talked about on another show, NFTs is a non-fungible token, and it's a unit of data that's stored on the blockchain. So it's like cryptocurrency, but in a different form. It's a different token form. But a lot of people buy and sell NFTs, and they do it right now. It's more speculative than anything, but there's a lot of purposes to it more than just buying and selling digital art. And for me in travel, I'm looking at you utilizing it as like more of like a club card or a travel card. Just imagine owning an NFT, but it also serves as a utility travel club card. So let's say that there's 1,000 different NFTs as part of this travel club program, and everyone that owns one of them gets certain exclusive benefits. So it's like a loyalty program, I guess you could say. But since it's stored on a digital ledger, you can actually trade and buy and sell these cards. And let's say that for TripShock, you own one of these NFT club cards, and you get 10% off everything. You get exclusive access to certain activities and tours. You get to meet backstage for some of the events that we throw. So, there's some big benefits there. With the technology, you can literally just go to the website, and if the website has, a wallet connect option, you can connect your crypto wallet, and boom, like it knows that you own this card, and immediately you start activating all those benefits. And it's just really amazing, like what the utility and what the future looks like for this. And I'm not doing it because I'm into pictures of, donkey butts or some stupid shit they have out there. Literally.
That was like a Freudian slip coming, man.
No, I'm seriously. If you go on to like these marketplaces for buying and selling NFTs, there's literally like stupid shit. Like there is a whole collection of dicks. Like that's just pictures of dicks.
Oh, now I'm interested.
Yeah, I knew you would be. And then there's this other ones of just pictures of people's asses like farting. Like that's the whole collection. It's really stupid shit. And I mean, I'm not into that side of it. Like, I'm into the technology, and I hope
you're not
like,
into pictures of dicks and and butts farting,
pixelated dicks.
Yeah, if you had to explain that to me or to our wider audience, man, like I think that I would not be doing the show with you, man. It's not something we would get together on for sure.
I want to buy one of those dick pics and send them to you,
dude. I will.
Yeah, that'll be your
cream saver. I'll make a T-shirt out of it, dude. I think fucking.
You'll be the poster child for that collection.
I'm a fucking dick, man. So I think it's come across in a couple episodes. So, man, I'm sorry, guys. My phone went off and it was an alarm, but I think I'm actually gonna set an alarm. It's what will be called the NFT alarm, and as much as Greg says going on about NFT, that alarm will go off. Like, all right, Greg, no more. I agree with you. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about it. I find it super interesting. Obviously I'm not going to talk about NFTs. I don't know anything about them, but I do find it a very interesting topic and subject. Because I think there's a huge emerging market in that space, and the early adopters right now because it moves so fast that some things like the JPEGs were really cool, and then now it's a crypto gaming, and then it's going to be something else, and it's like everything moves so fast that if you don't stay on top of it, like it's really easy to miss the bus, and it's probably really easy to lose a lot of money in this craze right now because it's such a new space. But we're not the Awkward NFT guys. We're the Awkward Watersports guys. And today's episode is just me and Greg kind of recapping what's been going on. We haven't been out here talking to you guys for the last couple of weeks. We've both been traveling a ton, in part due to the conference, which was a massive success. And we're also going to be talking about what the future holds for the show and for the Awkward Watersports guys, the brand, and what some of the stuff we plan on bringing to you guys next year. As it sounds like a year-end show, it's not. But we did just kind of want to recap for those of you guys that were at the conference, and for those of you guys who may have missed out, because oddly enough, there was quite a few people there who had never listened to the show, which I was really shocked. I was like, wow, I thought everybody that was here knew about the show. And I mean, they might have known about it, but not everybody was avid listeners. So, I mean, Greg, what was your takeaways from Orlando?
Well, first of all, it was shocking to see how many people actually showed up, because with COVID and we're all, a lot of them are owner operators. I would say like half the people at the show were owner operators. So like to take away, 4 or 5 days of their, business, that's a lot, potentially is a whole week of revenue. But like we talk about all the time on this show, you have to take some time to educate yourself and to learn what's new and to figure out how to, grow your business and be around like-minded individuals that can help you accomplish that. The show went a hell of a lot better than I anticipated. And not that I'm putting down my ability to throw a small conference, but the fact that, we're in a very unusual times right now. And now, obviously we're coming out of it, with COVID and everything, to organize something like this is very difficult. And even a one-day event. Some of the themes that I thought were really interesting was that we're all pretty much in the same boat with most things. Like, I think Douglas was spot on about dynamic pricing, how, a lot of operators don't change their pricing enough, leaving money on the table. We don't utilize our email databases. Everyone's sitting on a lot of emails, I'm sure, and it really reflected that in the data, how nothing's really being done with those emails. Also, we suffer from the same issues. Labor and supply chain seem to be something that we've heard pretty much every operator, like some challenges. Overall, like we are all kind of in the same boat. I wanted to use a different word because
I feel like we should I feel like we should change the name of the show to like get in the boat with Greg and Kevin, man.
Get in the boat, yeah.
Or but, like don't miss the boat with Greg and Kevin.
Also, the one thing that I really liked about the show is that we all got to be who we are. You go to conferences and you kind of have to act different. You have to conform with the rest of the people to try to be somebody. And that wasn't this conference. I mean, I would say that afternoon session, we were letting it all out. Whatever was on our mind, we let it out. And I think that's what was really special about it. I mean, even for me, like, do I really want, a lot of hate towards OTAs, at the conference? But at the same time, I kind of want to hear it, because it makes me realize like what we have to do better and what we have to avoid.
Resellers, man, they hate, like, I don't know. It's really funny, because everybody is really in the same situation. I'm not gonna say in the same boat again, but universally, like, a lot of we all sort of do the same things, because we are a lifestyle business. And so what I found to be most interesting was you have a bunch of these lifestyle business guys, and they all have the same problem: scalability. How do I scale? I took a call from his name's Cameron. He was at the conference, and he missed the second half of it because one of his buddies was having a little too much fun there first thing in the morning, so he had to get him out of there. So he called me, and he's like, Kevin, I feel like I should be paying you for this. And I'm like, yeah, I do too. Here's my Venmo. But it's the same thing, man. It's the same problem that everybody has. Like, how do I scale? How do I replicate me? Greg, you and I have had this conversation, and you run a larger company than probably 95% of the people that listen to this show. And so everybody struggles with this. At the after parties, like, that was the one thing I just kind of went up to everybody. I couldn't talk to them, like, trying to figure out, like, well, hey, what's your struggles? What's the number one problem that faces your business and your organization? And from a CEO and founder that has, how many employees do you have, Greg?
I mean, probably close to 100 if you count our contractors.
Right. So there you go. A guy that's got 100 to a guy that's got 1. And it's the same thing. How do I replicate me? How do I make another one of me? And it's difficult. It's a difficult question to answer. But I think as you do grow and as you do scale, I think the answer becomes delegation. And I hate to bring it back to like sounding like pitchy, like before the show, before the conference, everything, the network, the show, all of this. Like, the only way you're going to be able to get quality people is by forming relationships and strategic partnerships. And you have to look at some of your hiring as almost going into a partnership. You have to be able to pass something off to somebody that has skin in that game. You're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to find somebody who gives a shit on Craigslist. You're not going to find someone who cares on a Facebook ad. Like, you might be able to find somebody young and train that into them. I'm a firm believer in training. Obviously, if you guys were at the conference, that was one thing I wanted to deliver to people, is promote from within, hire, get them while they're young, train them your values, train them your strategies. But in these higher level things, when you're starting to bring in people that are going to run things, and you don't have somebody that can maybe run your maintenance or maybe run your marketing, you have to form a relationship with somebody you can trust to take care of that job. And it starts from cleaning your boats, cleaning your jet skis, doing your maintenance, to running your marketing, to ultimately running your business. And I feel that the one thing that I've learned in this past year is how to work on my business and not in my business. And it's a struggle that I think we'll all face as we continue to grow and continue to scale and to continue to integrate new ideas and different offerings in your organization. And eventually you have to be able to walk away from that thing and grow. If you rentals is your thing and you want to add jet skis, you want to add a parasail boat, you want to add a snorkel excursion, you want to do paddle boards, you have to be able to put somebody in that position that you can trust and is going to let you grow. And it might cost you money, but it's just like the initial investment into that boat, into that jet ski, into that paddleboard, into that kayak, into that snorkel excursion. You have to have a trusted person, and you have to invest in them. Time, money, energy, and trust. And if that answers the one question that I continually heard at that conference, I mean, I got to tell myself that every day too. So you're not alone. You're not alone. So that was my big takeaway. And there were some really good face-to-face relationships that we had there. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to make shit weird, but one of the attendees and myself had a conversation on the hallway, and he was like, man, he was like, I feel like, Kevin, I feel like you're one of my friends, man. He's like, man, I feel like the friendship is like one-sided because like, I'm like, dude, give me your number, bro. Like, let's be friends. Like, I absolutely feel like you're my friend too. You know, like I look out into this audience and that group and I'll see all these people and I see myself. And I think that's where that connection that we're able to make with the show and with the conference and to, you know, to make those relationships and connections. And it's not just business, because there's like a family, you know, because of the lifestyle component to what it is that we do. So I don't know. That was the best moment for me at that conference, having that conversation out in that hallway. That was just like the coolest thing, man. Like I was like, man, even if I just like impact one person's business and one person's life, like, man, that's the fucking coolest. It just, man, you know, it was not the easiest weekend for me, Greg. So that moment, like, man, it really meant a lot to me. So
yeah. What was your favorite presentation? Like, as far as like piece of information that you got,
my own.
I knew it. I mean, it's hard. It's for me. I mean, it's got to be Douglas's, just because I'm a really heavy data person. Not to say that Jason's and Justin's weren't very, very informative, but I will say Douglas is just getting that data and having him analyze it. And, you know, what I thought was really cool when he showed the slide of the survey from people that have done at least one water sport activity. I think there was 1,000 respondents, and the increase from 2019 to 2020, I think they did a survey in 2019, 2020, but it was like a massive increase, like 100 plus % people that are doing more water related activities. It just goes to show like how this industry is growing, and more people, for whatever reason, want to get outside. They want to get on the water, and, you know, pandemic may be a big reason for it. But I also think that people now are looking to discover their backyard. I mean, when I say backyard, like discovering their own country, like what all the great opportunities to travel in the state. You know, you don't have to always go to Europe or the Caribbean to get that fix. You know, you can drive to a lake or a nearby mountain or farm and get an experience too. So, you know, that it's just really cool to see that. You know, there were some weird moments too. Can I share you the weirdest moment there? So it was after Howl at the Moon when we went back to the hotel, and then we had like 15 minutes. So a bunch of us just jumped into the hot tub. We were in there for like, 15 minutes, and you were trying to like give the security guard cash to keep us in there longer. And then we all got out, and we're all sitting at the poolside, and there's no,
I don't even know what it is.
There's no alcohol. So we're just sitting there, just not understanding what to do next. I turn to my right, and Luke, who works for me, he's our waiver as product manager. He's getting his fucking haircut.
Yeah, man.
He's getting his haircut. Then I turn to my left, and Jaden from AMP is getting a full body massage on the pool deck. I'm like, what is going on right now? And then there was the one guy that was like, he was wasted, and I'm not going to say his name. He's in our group. And then he's acting like it literally, like, it was just like out of the Twilight Zone. Like, what is going on right now? Like, this is not typical in
Oh, the guy that was like, he was like, what? I was instigating. was instigating. I was making fun of his underwear because his like underwear was sticking out of his swimsuit, and so I was instigating it. And then like he like turned around and he was like, "Who said what?" And then I pointed at Steve and I was like, "That was Steve." And then like he got like super aggro on him. Like that was definitely the weirdest moment. Like I wanted to go. Like I was too tired, but I don't drink, but I wanted to go get like a handle of rum and bring it in just because I was like, man, between haircuts, body massages, and two marketing guys getting ready to fight each other, who I'm pretty sure neither one of them could fight their way out of a paper bag. Like, I know Steve, he's definitely not a fighter. And the kid that was like fucking stunting on him was like, doesn't look like he was going to do much either. But I wanted to get a bottle of fucking whiskey or rum or something and just like blow that whole thing up because there was like a hair style conference and there was like a masseuse and the one dude, the guy that like was cutting Luke's hair was like, he was like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "I like your tattoos." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, bro." And he's like, "Yeah, did you get them in prison?" I was like, "Nope, I did not get them in prison." Thank you though. I did like Douglas's presentation. I really there's everybody that did a roundtable has been on the show, except for America. America's not been on the show, right?
No, she has. Yep.
Geez, I'm sorry, America. I was like, I don't know. I think
Jason's the only one that hasn't been on the show.
Right. He's scared, and he should be. Yeah, so everyone that gave a roundtable has been on the show, so it's no secret who we have crushes on, who we love in this industry. Don't get me wrong, like if you're not a presenter or a roundtable and you've been on the show, it doesn't mean we don't like you or anything like that. But there's this people, you know, that I really enjoyed Kai's roundtable. I loved it. I diverted it many times. Like I said weird shit. Like I threw him, he was like, "What?" And I was like, I'm just kidding, man. But I loved it. I loved it because it presented. It was really weird how challenges and opportunities in new markets sort of like.
And just to let everyone know, that's Kai Capro with the Paddle Pub.
Yeah, with Paddle Pub. Yeah, man, I talked to that guy a lot. Like, it was hard. Like, there were so many really like experienced people that had a lot of more business acumen than I feel that I did. That I wanted to go like pick their brain at happy hour. But then there was like so many new startup guys that were there that. Yeah, I wanted to go talk to and find out like what challenges and struggles that they face. Like, it was really weird. I had to extend my roundtable because I was just trying, like because Greg gave me the, hey, we're getting ready to wrap it up. And I was like trying to get to my point, but I wanted my table to I wanted to see if my table was coming to that point that I had come to, which my topic was customer service and company culture and their relationship. And I was just constantly asking questions. Like that was my entire thing. Like, and spoiler alert, I reached out to Douglas before I did my roundtable. I'm like, how can I make the best of this roundtable? And he told me, it's like, you should be listening a lot more than you're talking, which is obviously very difficult for me because I love to talk. But I did. I sat there and every single person, I don't know. It was a great learning experience for me, but the Kai Capro from Paddle Pub's presentation I thought was fantastic. And then the weirdest moment, there was just so many of them, man. Like the weirdest moment was for me, and it was weird and super awkward, is one of our attendees was like grilling Justin Buzzy from Get Up and Go Kayaking. It was like the percentage, and I don't know if he was like trying to get in the weeds, like on some like he's like, man, let's talk numbers, man. These nerds talk about numbers and data and shit. But he was like hitting him. He kept on like not really raising his hand, but just interrupting him about the percentage of manatees that one might see. I don't know if he was asking the percentage of manatees that people see on the tour or percentage of people that ask for refunds because they don't get to see a manatee on the tour. But like he kept on coming back, but he's like, but percentage wise, you had to put like a number on the manatee. Like I was fucking dying, man. Like I was like, I want to get this kid out of here. I want to take security. But at the same point in time, like you see Justin just like, what the fuck, man? Like, what did I do? Like, why is this kid like busting my balls about manatees?
Here's the thing. I'm not going to mention his name because because, I'm trying to help. But at the same time, I thought that he had this big styrofoam cup. And I swear I thought there was coffee in there. And he just had a long night. No, he had it full of a mimosa.
I mean, God bless him. God bless him. And that's why I quit drinking, because at that kid's age, man, I was the same guy, dude. At 28, 29, I was the same dickhead, man. I would have been drinking first thing in the morning. I would have thought I was the funniest guy in the room. So I can't break the kid balls too much, man. I get it. It is water sports. It is our industry. 30 years ago, if you would have tried to hold this conference, man, you would have had guys probably all holding cocaine in their pocket, man. So this is part of what we do, and it is part of who we are. And it's like, thankfully it was just one person who got fucked up. You know what I mean? At least it was like no punches thrown. Like, hopefully that's year two. Like, I want to see these rowdy, rousty young captains and young entrepreneur guys, man. Like, that's part of the industry. It's part of the lifestyle. It's part of what we do. Yes, we're professionals. Yes, we're entrepreneurs. Yes, we're business. But man, we're also pirates, man. Like that is the legacy of what it is that we do. It's why I love it. So, I mean, good on you, bro. Good on you, man. Hey, Justin Buzzy, Mr. Instagram influencer, what's the percentage of manatees that you got to read, but if people don't get to see them? That's the numbers, the real statistic. It was fucking awesome. There was lots more awkward moments, though, man. Like the after hours parties, like, man, I had way too many awkward altercations.
So at Halton, we went to Halton Moon, and somebody there bought 400 shots for everybody. Not someone in our group. Yeah, some guy bought 400 shots. They were walking around with shots layered, and they kept dropping them. I mean, we're talking like Patron, not like the cheap shit, but like really good stuff. And I'm like, who in the hell is buying all this alcohol for everybody? And I mean, obviously I met my limit.
You never found out who it was?
No. Well, someone said it was this older gentleman that was in front. Him and his wife were just like having the time of their life. So I
just dropped $4,000 on Patron shots. Yeah. People kept on asking, like handing me shots, and I kept on like going, yeah. And then setting them to the side.
Yeah. I mean, my limit is, I don't get that bad anymore. So it's like, but it was good for him though. I mean, he made it cheaper on us to.
It was a great time. I want to switch gears a little bit. I think we both kind of walked away from the conference, and this is like really the first time you and I have had any kind of like conversation. Really, like you guys are getting the scoop, the exclusive, but Greg and I really haven't strategized about anything going forward. But at the conference we were talking, and there was times where we did get like, we pulled each other aside and we're just kind of like talking about how great everything was going, how excited I think we both were. And one thing that I kept saying, man, I was like, man, we need more people not in our sector that are really good at what they do to come on the show. And we need to figure out like what it is. Like when you look at hotels, airlines, like anything that, from marketing, from operations, from finance to tax strategies, it's like we're like, water sports is not some kind of fucking vacuum, man. Like dynamic pricing, like we just booked our Universal tickets, and it's like tickets starting at $164. And then when the calendar came up, each day was different. And not one was at $164. Like Universal, you motherfucker, like $191. I went through the calendar. I'm like, this is the first week in November. Like, why is it more than what you're suggesting that it is? So I think, and again, and I booked the tickets. I wasn't like, what, $17? I mean, like, let me fucking work. And that's like almost 20 people, which is a lot of money. So I think that it's imperative that we start drawing from other industries and figuring out what makes an industry universally, no pun intended, successful, and how can we start applying this to our own everyday business practices. Even as Greg said, like looking at NFTs, how it applies to travel, because and I think you're going to be super early on that. And that's fantastic. That's awesome. I completely support it. I think you should be, because eventually NFTs will be like all these things apply to people. It's not like the hotel industry lives in a vacuum, or, the plumbing industry lives in a vacuum. All these places like looked at something that another industry was doing and said, how can I apply that to my business? How can I apply that to what it is that my organization, how we do? How can I increase my profits, increase my, whatever, anything. How can I optimize the practices in my business? So I think the biggest thing from this entire experience for us moving forward is that we need to start having a larger conversation, and without getting too ahead of myself, without Greg and I speaking on the phone separately. I mean, what do you think, Greg? I mean, I think we kind of have that same goal, right? Like we want to expand our network. We want to expand the sharing of ideas, right? That's what we take away.
We could have water sport operators and water sport marketers on here every week. Although I do believe that if we don't broaden and get different perspectives in different industries, still having a context to water sports, if we don't do that, then we're going to stay in a bubble. It might not be a small bubble, but it's going to be a bubble of some kind. Like that, I draw a lot of inspiration for Trip Shock from other industries. Like obviously the crypto NFT industry, I'm drawing inspiration from, I'm drawing ideas from, and then I'm gonna apply them to water sports and tours. As Kevin said, I might be 5 years early, but getting into Trip Shock, I was probably 5 years early on it. I mean, we didn't have any traction for the first few years because the idea of paying a commission and getting online bookings was just very, very new, especially in like a cottage industry like water sports. But when that time did come, when the Fair Harbors and the Peaks and all these other big software companies came in and there was mass adoption, we were there. That's why we didn't have to raise money, because we were ahead of the game. It just sucked for those first few years because we had to wait for the industry to actually catch up with the technology. But that's what's so important. Like, we want to make sure that all of you have that advantage. We are going to continue sharing everything we have, but in order for us to have that advantage, we have to go outside water sports and find some interesting people that can share these ideas. And then obviously we're going to always keep it within the context of water sports, but at the same time, we have to look outside. And I think this is going to make the show a little more interesting, spice it up a little bit. And we'll still have operators on the show. We're not going to take away that segment. We're not going to take away, having water sport marketers. But at the same time, we would love to like expand the concept a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I talk about it a little bit because you got me like exploring my podcast is definitely my podcast selection has definitely made a change, but it really got me to thinking about the larger things to do market. And when you're looking at theme parks and attractions, and again, not to say that like we're heading in that direction or anything like that, but again, I just look at the total overall top down things to do in Florida. Like, what is it that makes us special? What is it that keeps us going? Like, are people always going to want to get out on a boat? Is parasailing always going to be cool? Are people always going to want to go on a jet ski? Is this something that could die? Like, is there a lifespan to water sports? Is there a lifespan like going to the beach? I don't mean to get like existential or anything, but man, the world seemed to be changing exponentially quicker than it was even 20 years ago. And so I think if we can't keep up with, at the very least, marketing and checkout processes and online shopping, and make sure that those ideas and those things in the shopping experience are staying in line with what people are used to. Again, like to pull from the whole dynamic pricing, the idea of dynamic pricing, that's just a hair. That's just a needle in a haystack of things that we need to keep on doing. We need to keep on becoming ingenuitive. We have to keep on pushing boundaries. We have to keep on coming up with new ideas because the world is growing. It's not shrinking. The world is growing, and the opportunities out there and ideas for people to have fun and things to do, like that's what we're competing with. And it's not just at your lake or in the state of Florida or on the West Coast. It's every market that you're in. You are competing with this entire world of great, fun, exciting, and frankly, new things to do. And so if we don't start drawing inspiration from some of that stuff, we're going to get left behind because it's going to be passe. No, you know what I mean? You don't want to be the guy with a horseback farm or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe there's some guy killing it with a horseback riding out there. He's like, I'll be the only guy with a horseback farm. That's fine. I'm fucking crushing it. But yeah.
No, you're right. So basically going into 2022, you're going to see some different types of guests. You're going to see people a little outside of tourism, and we're going to, really start honing in on business in general a little bit, growth, business, sustainability, and growth, because at the conference, I think that was the big theme. Like, everyone wants to grow, and growing a business, you're not going to find the brightest minds in business growth in just water sports. I mean, we have a lot of incredible people who know how to scale a business in water sports, but we're going to find the biggest and best minds outside of this industry, and we want to bring those in and learn from them. So that's exciting, and it'll allow us to really find some great people, and we might get some interesting ones too. Some of the contacts that I've met recently could be great fits. Maybe we get some entertainers on here that talk about how they were able to get to the top. I mean, there's some interesting things we can do.
I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I don't know if you've made the reach out, but I would like to see, because we neither one of us picked his presentation, but I think his presentation was super important, was Jason Crotto from Horizon Revenue Management. And I'm really excited to have him on the show and have this conversation about pricing. It's really important. Like, getting your pricing, and we've talked about it a lot, but getting your pricing is super important. Understanding how to price, dynamic pricing, and we're going to really grill them. You know what I mean? I'm just going to fucking like get in there, man. You know what I mean? Just like really right off the rip. Like, why are you so dumb, Jason Crotto? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not going to grill Jason, but I think his message is really important. And I want to get him on the show so if you did miss the conference, I think he's one of the only people that presented that have not been on the show. So to the larger audience out there, I think that he may be our next guest, right?
Maybe, yeah. So,
or he's coming up.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I think that wraps it up today, and we're back in the swing of things. So you're going to start seeing weekly episodes again, at least, minus maybe the holidays. We might have a couple off weeks, but we're back. I think,
good one,
everyone was asking if we were going to do a conference next year. 100%. We're definitely doing a conference next year, probably the same time. I think the time worked great. I mean, we don't want to coincide too close with Arrival. And speaking of Arrival, we're going to be there, San Diego. So definitely catch us. I think they're going to do a water sport breakout. I've been talking with Douglas about that. So we'll do the whole, maybe Kevin and I can host that as well. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I've been talking with Bruce, and I'll be doing a session at Arrival for sure. I'll be a part of like an operator story forum already. So if you want to hear my big mouth anymore, but on the West Coast in a different time zone, Arrival will be in February. But yeah.
So we'll start planning. We'll first planning the conference in January, February. So we'll get some dates early so you can make sure you get there. Because I know some people, they have to plan way ahead of time. And I don't think we're going to be dealing with COVID next year. So I think we're pretty much in the clear. I want to
take that straight to the bank from the mouth of Greg Fisher, who is a virologist. And look, I want to finish it up with thanking everybody that came out to the conference. It was huge. I don't think either one of us anticipated having our own thing after a year of doing the show. So all those of you guys who have adopted our show, listen, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for coming out to the conference and your continual support of what it is that we're doing and trying to do. And yeah, man, I think that about wraps it up. I got some business I got to do right now, Greg.
Yeah, make sure you all leave a review on our show. I don't know what's up with that. We have like 5 reviews, and this is, don't we talk about reviews on the show? Like,
we have everybody's number. We'll just start hitting them with an.
I'm going to have to like text everybody and say, hey, review our podcast. Come on now.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Or maybe this show just isn't that good.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. Maybe they just don't like us, Greg.
Or maybe just you. I don't know.
Pretty sure that I'm the fan favorite. Fucking be real here, man. Come on. You might be smarter, but I'm fucking definitely funny. Trust me, dude. It was evident by how much I got hit on. Hey, ladies, sorry, I'm not single. All right, I gotta roll, man. I gotta get
all
out
right,
of here.
guys. Hey, as always, keep it awkward.